a fairy oracle card reading for part of your world who was gliding current. So you had a code name change. We had this come up, I think it was during the very first reading, this part of your world thing right away under the sea. It was popping in my head. That keeps happening during your readings. Okay, so what do I start with here? Oh, and I asked them too, what's with, and that was before I got the code name. I was asking them, what's with this under the sea thing? And because I remembered the part of your world thing all of a sudden, and I was like, what's with this Little Mermaid reference? Because it's not just, even though you have the water guide, this is obviously not only a sea reference or a water reference, or it would be, you know, there would be other references too. It wouldn't just be, you know, it would be 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea or something as well. It wouldn't only be the Little Mermaid repeatedly and different references to the Little Mermaid. And I asked them about that, and right away there was this feeling like, oh no, we're not going to say anything about that yet. Almost like it's not the right time to say that yet, or kind of something like that. But then part of your world is the code name. So, okay. And I did pull runes. That's another thing that keeps happening in your reading. I pulled some runes as I was pulling the crystals. So here I have two this time. And I have here, let me see where you can see it well, Nathes, and then I have Awaz. So these together, I mean, Nathes it tends to be, well, what it means is need, and it tends to be about like kind of restrictions and delays, and there's something that you see in sight and you want to do it. You're trying to either get something going or maintain something, or just do something that you have your sights set on. And there are these blocks or these restrictions, or just one thing coming up is almost like a confusion. I think you even mentioned that. And then Awaz, so this has got to have to do with one of your questions, which I think was referring to some project you were referring to that had to do with setting up like a financial kind of structure. Because here you have Awaz. So it's interesting that these two would come up, and that was one of your questions, because with Awaz is all about, Awaz is the yew tree, and it tends to be about like being grounded and setting something up and having a base, having a foundation. And also there again, you have goals that are in sight, but it's like, it can also mean somebody who's reliable. And so they tend to be goal oriented, and they are steady, and the things that they have in sight, they get them done and they do them. But this is next to this Nathes. So here again, it's, yeah, you have this project, you have these things that you want to set in place, that you want to do, these goals, but for some reason there are these blocks right now. Okay. So aside from the under the sea and part of your world, I feel like I should mention this is the fire guide, because that's interesting. I was just going to say the fire guide, and I opened the box, and I have Soulless is the card on the top there. Um, but I used the pyramid to set up the sacred space, and then to surround us, I used my selenite. So both of these would more be indicating the fire guide. The selenite can be the water guide as well, but still, I would say more so the fire guide. And then there are some other crystals here. You know, the one we always use, the tiger's eye, and the malachite. So a lot of familiars here. And then I have my green fluorite and the shattuckite that came up during not your reading. I don't know if it's come up during your reading, but one that you ordered for another person. And then there's the rose quartz here, and this one, I don't know, there's something weird with this energy. It almost feels like, what did I pull this for? I don't know why. I don't know why I pulled this. It feels weird, but I don't know. Felt like I was supposed to pull it though, but I know I was gonna say the rose and the green fluorite do have to do with heart chakra, but no, I don't even feel like they're related. I feel like this more has to do with calm and grounding and healing, and also just in general the water guide. Usually your crystals, they indicate either the fire guide or the water guide. If I'm sure you've noticed that, that always happens with yours. Yeah, that doesn't feel like it represents either guide. I don't know what that is. I really don't know what that is. Okay, so I have my cards here. I have my runes down there too, in case. There's something about the malachite too coming in. It almost feels like some nature spirits that are kind of around you. It almost feels like you've pulled in some new energies. Or maybe it's, yeah, they're not really new. Maybe it's just that I'm sensing them more so. Um, you know what? I bet it has to do with, yeah, this has to do with the fact that you can be more open, because there was almost a feeling of you like being more open with your daughter, the one that had um, the kind of fairy guides. There were a lot of fairy guides coming in, because that's what I'm sensing. It just feels like a lot of fairy guides. This feels like it has to do with your ability to be more open with her, and also with others, which you even mentioned. But this even includes her specifically, because I feel a lot of her guides around you now that I wasn't really sensing with you before. I sensed them around her, but I wasn't really sensing them around you. And there's one in particular that I keep sensing, but at the same time, they're not really wanting to exactly come forward. It feels like a group. There is one that I am seeing, but it really feels like a group. But that one is male, and he's almost helping you with something logical, but in this like playful, childish kind of way. Okay. And now I'm hearing something that you wrote, which I would not have remembered or even thought of, this willy-nilly thing that you were saying. One of your guides said, this is like, now all of a sudden this is popping in my head, and this is like rhyming, dancing stuff. And I'm not saying he's the only one that does that, because I know that your guides speak in that way with you. But almost this like childish kind of playful energy, the way that they get something across, but at the same time he's being very serious, but in like this playful way. So he can mean something serious, but say it in this very um, not serious way, basically. And there's almost this feeling of kind of almost toying with you or playing with you a little bit, that all of your guides tend to have, because all of your guides are kind of fairyish, like even like your main guides, like they're elementals. So even though it's not like directly fairy, there is like, it is somehow related. It is kind of related to that. It's different, but there is like a relation there. So the energies can almost have something to do. They can kind of mesh. In other words, they can kind of mesh. And even feel like a little bit similar. Okay, so they want to talk about this. This is something that they really want to talk about, would be this thing with this project. Okay, so what I'm supposed to ask is, why are these blocks there? Why are these blocks there? Okay. I don't know if I'm supposed to pull these out or not, because, okay, I'm gonna go again, because a lot just fell out. So here we go. Okay, so, all right. Oh, okay. All right. Got it. Okay. So what I pulled here, I have the RAR and the Lady of the Harvest and the RAR. Okay. So, and then though on the bottom I had here the Spirit Dancer. Okay, the Spirit Dancer is all about a project. She is all about a creative project that you are undertaking, or that you are attempting to, you're trying to manifest something, create something. It always has to do with some type of project, and some kind of creative type of project. Okay, so, and even in this case though, there is this feeling of almost like something mental, and like you're thinking about it in a mental way. I keep feeling those energies. And you would do that, because you, there is this energy with you of being mental, but there is also this very there's there's an expanded feeling with it. It's not like stuck in some kind of mental regime or something, some kind of like mental, um, like mental in a blocked way. It doesn't regime. No, I mean regimen. I'm saying regime. But what was I just saying? I'm totally blanking out, because I'm feeling an energy behind me all of a sudden is the reason. But yeah, there is like this kind of expanded um, view, this like expanded outlook. And so there is like a lot of inspiration with the energy. And so even though it does feel mental and logical, it doesn't really feel strictly that way. It still feels very creative and open and flexible, and like things can come through and they can flow through. So also in a feminine way and like in an allowing way. So there's definitely a balance there that you have acquired with those two energies, where you can be very flexible, but at the same time, like the AWAS is saying, you can set goals and you can attempt to push yourself and to accomplish the goals. Because what's coming in is, it's like if you have too much feminine energy, you're going to sit and you're really going to plan and plan and plan and, feel it out according to your, like your gut feelings, your intuitive responses. But you could end up just kind of lagging and sitting there all day. And then if you have too much of this other energy, you're going to do something in a foolish way because you're not really going to plan anything. And so they're saying that there is a balance there that you have acquired. So they're saying that you can really feel it out intuitively. I keep getting intuitive out. Intuitive. In what are you saying? That doesn't make any sense. That's not even a word. Guides do that sometimes. Intuitive? That's not even a word. That's very hard to say. Intuitive, it out is what they're saying, and that's really a tongue twister. Okay. But they mean like, okay, intuition it out. Yeah, feel it out. So there's this feeling like you do have this balance, and almost like you will figure it out. You'll figure out the balance. Do I need to do too much more of this? Do I need to do less of that? Do I need to think up more ideas in this way or that way, expand like this, or stop looking so much at that? So there was almost like a feeling like expand like this or shut down like that. So close off to this or open to that. There's a feeling like you will figure that out, and I almost feel like pretty easily. And there's also this word coming in of resourcefulness, that they see you as very resourceful. They also see you as able to feel things out and intuition it out. Or, how they were putting it before. I can't even say that. Okay. So yeah, there's this feeling that you're very resourceful. So it feels like the blocks are not coming from your ability to be resourceful. Okay, so back to, I guess I'm getting back to this now, the cards. Yes, all right, so back to the cards, the RAR, and the Lady of the Harvest. Well, the Lady of the Harvest is all about releasing like a really, really big, something big, releasing a lot of energy, releasing a lot of emotion. It can, and releasing a lot of blocks. Okay, she's about really, really moving through something that affected you. You are really releasing it, and then you come out on the other side and you're more expanded and you're more free. And it has to do with the heart center. It has to do with loss. It has to do with emotions that you're just kind of dumping out, is what it feels like. Okay, that's what the rose quartz has to do with. That's what it is. Thank you. All right, and then we have the RAR. Okay, all the RAR is this crazy amount of energy that just bounces and floats everywhere and can get really ungrounded if it isn't kept grounded. Whereas tend to you tend to be pretty grounded. You can get a handle on you can get a handle on your just the way you operate energetically and even emotionally. You're able to become grounded, even if you don't see, everything clearly always right at first glance. They're saying that you can bounce back and you can look at things in a grounded way. So that isn't really what they're suggesting with this card. It's just that it's next to the Lady of the Harvest. And basically, anything that this card is next to, it just means it increases it in this really, really humongous way. And so this means there's like this tremendous thing that you are releasing from your heart chakra, but I also I feel the sacral, I feel the root. And that's interesting because I was playing root chakra music at the beginning of the reading, and I don't know if I've ever played that during one of your readings. And I wasn't thinking that I was going to play that. Um, for a second, I thought I was going to play Under the Sea, and I'm like, I can't play Under the Sea and set up a sacred space and get a new code name. They don't, it doesn't really flow that well. So I didn't play that, but I didn't feel to play that anyway. I ended up playing this root chakra music, but root chakra music, it tends to have to do with safety and security. It can also have to do with childhood, and like reasons why then later you end up in patterns and you end up with like psychological blocks and things. And even if, like, let's say you are releasing something, they're saying, like, let's say that you're releasing something that you just went through, but they're saying that, like, the whole reason that you would be in that or releasing that to begin with, it's really having to do with something that you are releasing from childhood that you just had to look at more presently, in a more present way, they're saying. So really, they're saying that it all links up to childhood. They're saying it can link up to past lives, but they're saying really more so, they're saying that this especially is dealing with childhood blocks, childhood issues, and then something present just more brought them up. They're saying in this way where you're able to access them. They're saying so you're able to express them, and you're able to actually release them because you have access to them. They're saying whereas they were hidden before, they're saying that before they were almost thought of as right. Like these psychological blocks and things, it was almost like, well, this is the right way to be, is what your guides are saying. So they were hidden. It didn't look as wrong to you. They're saying even though it felt wrong, still logically there was almost this feeling like it is logical to be that way, or mainly to give in to the temptation to be that way, and accept certain like psychological programmings, they're saying, or social conditionings, or they're saying childhood blocks and childhood ways of being. So they're also saying parental blocks that are almost passed down. And they're saying that you are not going to pass down those same blocks to your children. They're saying even though you may have, they're saying now you're not going to. They're saying there's just too much of a huge opportunity not to, where they're saying that it really, so they're not saying 100%, but they're saying that it really definitely feels that way to them. It feels like there's such a door open to not be that way, and your desire, they're saying, is very firm and strong to be a certain way and a new way. They're saying like a new way of being has started taking over, and that you don't want to go back to your old self, to the old way of being. Okay. Okay. So the blocks, they're saying there are blocks there with the project, but it's like they are releasing as you are releasing this stuff, and it's opening up as you are, almost. It's opening up as you are. And so this project somehow, it is connected to your energy right now and you as a person and what you are going through. And as you expand more, it's like the ideas are going to flow to you, and the know-how, and you're going to figure it out, and you're going to step into your place easily, they're saying. And so it just has to do with what you're currently releasing and transitioning out of emotionally and mentally, they're saying, because psychologically they're saying that again. Okay, they're saying the fourth question. Okay, they're saying this is like a fun side thing. They're saying that people almost rant, saying something about ranting, expressing negativity, ranting, blaming, or that there's some like a shadow self exposed with other people, and that you get to see that side, and they're saying that you find it intriguing, and that you find helping them fascinating. And they're saying that this is one of your gifts, almost figuring out a puzzle or something, and you're using it to benefit others. So they're saying, why not? And they're saying that it intrigues you, and that it makes your day or your night sometimes. And so they are saying that it can be tiring. So they're saying, so just relax, give it a breather. They're saying balance with everything, but to them it's a good thing. You're expanding other people's horizons. They're saying you're helping others with your gifts to sort of figure out a puzzle, and let me see if I can say this. Okay, no, they're saying it the other way. Okay, intuition it out. That's much easier to say than intuitive it out. That I said it that time. Okay, so, all right, let's see if they have anything else to say about this. Okay. So, so this is also helping you through your process and your growth. Okay, so I have the green woman, and I have honesty here. And then underneath I have Geo the slow. I'm gonna pull that out here too. Okay, so now the new card underneath is She of the Kruak. All right, so okay, so it's like you're able to look at your own growth and your own process in an honest way. And you've grown a lot, but there's a feeling like it's taken you some time. That's what Geo the Slow is all about. He's all about a very slow. He's about very slow processes. You have a rainforest that grows over hundreds and hundreds or maybe thousands of years. He is about manifesting those processes. So you as a soul have been developing for a very long time. And even though in comparison to that that context of you as a soul and all these lifetimes that you've had, still even in this lifetime, which is in some ways a snap in comparison, um, from this angle, that you're in, and even for your guides, if they're looking at it from your angle but they don't mean it in a negative way, even in that way it can seem you can it can seem to you like some processes, you can see what they mean, like some processes take longer than others, especially things like emotional development or removing childhood beliefs, childhood patterns. Sometimes that can take a lifetime to remove. So they're saying that you're doing very well, and that you've stepped out of a big um, they're saying that you started a process of stepping out of a huge programming recently that goes back to childhood, and they're saying that it's removed, like the beliefs are removed, or they're saying a lot of them, and they're saying for the most part they're all removed, but they're saying now it's just about releasing all the energy. So with this Facebook stuff, they're saying it's almost like when you see other people's shadow side, it almost helps you look at your own processes in an honest way, and that's even why you're able to help or comfort others a lot of the time. It has to do with your own growth as a person. Um, and what met your own needs, what fit your own needs, or what helped you, what would have encouraged you, how would you have wanted somebody to speak to you, type of thing. They're saying also you get to speak about metaphysical abilities, which again is something that fascinates you, and it increases your understanding. Okay, so that's all that they have to say about that. Okay, and the She of the Kruak, that is like a very nurturing, feminine energy, feeling like you're somehow nurturing yourself or nurturing others, or somehow you are being looked at in some way. Or in other words, more like looked on in some way, like in a almost like a mothering type of way. Okay, so right, and that you're doing that for others. Okay, let's see. Seems like a lot of these questions they've really been speaking about a lot already in their own way. Okay, so they answered 3 and 4 first, but they have been talking about questions 2 and 1 like the entire time now that I am reading these questions. Like in their own way, it seems like they've definitely been talking about these. So I don't know when you watch the reading, I don't know if you feel that or know what I mean by that, or to you, like it. I know sometimes it ends up even being like they've answered like a whole bunch of other questions that were not even posed. Happens sometimes. Okay, so I just don't feel either of these specifically. It feels like they're just kind of speaking about them as they're speaking about everything else. Okay, I'm going to put these runes back. I feel like. Okay. Okay, so here we go. This one has popped out. Okay, so this will be the fire guide talking, obviously. Okay, so what do you have to say? Okay, so that's the only card. Okay, so he's going to talk now. Okay, there's this feeling like you've struggled for a long time. Again, there's this feeling of shadow self, um, and like he's saying dark, but more like in a negative way, like negativity. But at the same time, he doesn't really mean it in a negative way, because he's saying that struggles can bring you more into light, bring you more into peace, harmony with yourself, or bring you more into positivity, positive alignment, and help you with your growth. But you have gone through this very dark period for a very long time. He's saying, and he's saying that you've transitioned out of that genuinely well. But he's saying that the hurdle is sort of releasing it now, and he's actually reminding me of this other card, which is Iris of the Rainbows. That's another fairy card in the deck, and Iris of the Rainbow, is all about after the storm. You've been through this big struggle, and now after the storm, there is this rainbow. But he's saying, but there is another mild storm. There is another storm, but it's more like a storm within you, that you are expressing and releasing. But he's saying venting in a healthy way. So he's more like saying, oh geez, what is that? Okay, that doesn't matter. Um, like forgiveness and practices like that. There is some word that's trying to come in, but I don't remember it. Um, but I don't really feel like that specific technique is important. The point is more, um, so venting in a healthy way wouldn't really be venting exactly. It would be more like crying or meditation on love, like especially self-love or love in general, like just the feeling of love, acceptance, forgiveness, peace, tranquility. And he's saying that these are ways to step into that new vibration in a peaceful way, committed to bringing in a new energy that is tranquil and peaceful and will attract tranquil, uh, it will open up tranquil doorways. Because, okay, he's showing me like, almost like a train station, and he's saying it will open up tranquil, and he's showing me a train station. So he's meaning, but then he's saying doorways. So in other words, you'll be moving towards what's tranquil. In other words, you'll be setting your sights on things that are tranquil for you because you love and you accept yourself more. And so what you desire, as you release this, it's going to come to pass more and more easily, more and more quickly. But any blocks, he's saying that they're more within you than at all without you, or coming from without you. Even though he is saying you can pick up on people here and there, and that feels kind of like Facebook too. But even family and things, you can pick up on people. But I feel like that is lessening, and yeah, you've closed the doorway on a lot of that. It feels like a lot of this insecurity and stuff that you had, part of the reason that you're not feeling it now isn't just because you said no to it from them, even though that is a big part of it, but it's that you also said no to it from them energetically, where it's not coming towards you. So in other words, you were picking up on it, um, but and he is saying, and psychologically, you've been taught to think that way and agree with that point of view, and other things. He's saying, and other beliefs that you might think of. But he's saying a lot of these insecurities and doubts about who you are. He's saying um, they don't serve you, but he's saying that they were never really yours. You stepped into them based off these energies around you, where people were emitting this vibe of, I don't know who I am, I don't know what I'm doing here, I don't know where I belong, and so I'm going to set up this way of being that I am sure about. And I am sure that the world exists in this way because of how fearful I am. And I can't try anything new. I can't put my toe in the water because I don't know, where the water is going to lead. I don't know if my toe is going to get too cold. I don't know if I'm going to freeze. I don't know if a shark is going to come and bite me. He's saying you get the point. There's just all these, what if this, what if that, what if this, what if that. Um, and he's saying, like, I might lose all of my grounding and become like some kind of insane person, become some nutter. And he's showing me almost like this, like the earth is opening up, and the person is like falling into it. And so he's saying that this had to do all with their fears, why they cannot, um, he's saying, even think of comprehending why someone would want to believe the way that you do, or believe something new, he's saying, or look at something in a different way. He's saying it makes you stand out. He's saying in a bad way, to them, in a bad way, in a negative way. Why would you even want to do that? Why would you even want to believe that? Just stay over here. And he's saying when they're constantly putting out these vibes around you, and you're sensitive. He's saying even if you didn't know how sensitive you were, or even have an understanding, yes, or accept the understanding, yes, you can be psychically sensitive and open, and I am that way, and I should protect myself, even though you didn't have that understanding, and so you weren't protecting yourself at all. um, he's saying that there was protection around you, and he's saying that eventually you were able to, um, he's saying, morph into the butterfly that you are and come out of this cocoon that he's saying that you were almost like forced into, he's saying, from childhood. He's saying that this goes back to your father and your mother, and he's saying how they raised you, and he's saying the emotions that they kept you in. He's saying that you were kept in their emotions. He's saying they raised you out of what they had been taught, what they had been fed, and their life, where he's saying they couldn't process their own, he's saying, like, their own emotional pain and fear, their emotional body, the things that were stuck in it and trapped in it. He's saying they were not, he's saying most of those things they weren't able to look at. They couldn't process them. They couldn't even process that they were there. They just wanted to deny them. And he's saying sort of turn the other cheek towards them. So he's saying in a negative way, turn the other cheek. And he's saying just not look at them. So he's saying sometimes turning the other cheek is a bad thing. And now he means it more in the way that Jesus said it, more in the way that it's generally said. If someone slaps your cheek, turn the other one. He's saying boundary setting is a necessity on earth. So he's saying that sometimes, he's saying he understands why Jesus said it, why Jesus put it that way, and the culture at the time, and that this is often something that people need to hear. Walk away, don't bash someone's face in other words. But he's saying when you have, he's saying a weak person, and he's saying that no one is actually weak, but let's say there's someone who puts on that demeanor, or who has seen themselves in that way, and who is always targeted and thrown about. He's saying they need to learn to set boundaries, that it isn't out of wisdom that they would turn the other cheek. It isn't wise. It is a natural response, he's saying, to get angry, because he's saying that is a defense mechanism, and that enables you to say no to a lot of negativity on the earth plane. And so he's saying that is wise, and that is a wise choice to say no to taunts. He's saying taunts. He's saying ranting, taunting, um, he's saying expressing the shadow self in a very negative, overbearing way, not in a way of releasing, not in a way of finding oneself, or in a way of connecting. And he's saying ultimately it is all about connecting, it is all about finding yourself, but they want to, he's saying they want to hide who they are. And so he's saying that they cannot connect in the way that their soul would really want to, in a peaceful, loving way, or create a peaceful, loving vibration and atmosphere or environment or home. Um, he's saying that can't be carried out, that vibration of love and respect. And he's saying, do unto others what you would have them do to you, sort of thing, or just neighborly goodness, compassion, acceptance. He's saying, um, so he's saying that it causes people to live in a way where they are hiding their own fears, their own pain, their own sorrow, their own grief. He's also saying even their own joy, like he's saying their own joys, their own passions, their own excitements. And he's saying that they live in this totally stifled way where it's all about, well, what do you think? What do you think I should do? He's saying even if they're not expressing that outwardly, he's saying outwardly, the person might be saying, I'm expressing, you do this, you do that. Um, I don't like the way that you talk to me, or I don't like what you're reading, or I don't like, you know, who you're interacting with. He's saying, um, I don't like, I don't like anything about you. Um, oh, this is a specific person he's got to be talking about then, because he just said, get away from my daughter, kind of thing. Just there, he just said that. Okay, so this is also a specific person specifically that he's talking about, but he's saying that there is this kind of negative father um, energy that he's saying that you've kind of incorporated your whole life, or most of it. He's saying until now. There's always been this very negative, like fatherly image, he's saying. And he's saying that now you don't want to repeat that and be that way. Um, be be that same fatherly image, which he's saying you never would have been. Um, he's saying you would have been more loving and more open and responsive and flowing, and caretaking, but he's saying that you would have bended to others' beliefs about your children more, he's saying. And so you couldn't have influenced them in the proper way, he's saying. And he's saying the proper way is a respectful way where you allow them to fully flourish into who they are and have ways of finding self, he's saying, of self-discovery, looking at who they are and knowing who they are, um, and connecting to like to their true power, connecting to that. He's saying connecting to earth, connecting to all that is in a harmonious way. So he's saying that they would have lacked that grounding and that structure, if you had not have if you had not have if you had not been who you are. And if you hadn't have been willing to take the risk of exposing who you are, in a more grounded physical way, where you're not just mentally thinking this or that here or there, or showing it, like sticking your toe in the water as far as showing it, sometimes here or there, when you feel like it's necessary, or when you feel like you must, or when and where you feel like you are able, with who you are able. He's saying that would have been their life. Like that would have been how they felt about you. Um, and he's saying not in a really negative way, like they don't like you or love you or something, or respect you, meaning that they wouldn't have really been able to take risks for themselves. They wouldn't have seen you as someone who does that. And since they would have respected you, um, since they do have respect for you, and they are influenced by you, he's saying that would have been their life. That would have been what energies would have been very, very present. So he's saying that they do still have some of that. On the one side, yes, but they're saying that you can be a positive influence, um, because of how many cycles that you are now breaking and you're coming out of for yourself. And he's saying that this is a very positive alignment with who you are, and that they think that you have come a very, very long way, and they're saying congratulations and namaste, and that is all. Okay. Okay. So, thank you very much. I almost said gliding currents again. Part of your world, which we still don't really know what that code name means. I think in the very beginning, but I don't think that that's all of what that means, because they were saying that they didn't really want to get into that fully. But I know in the beginning, when they were talking about, before they got into the project and stuff, I did have a feeling that some of it was about that. A feeling like you're almost trying to set up this structure, in the world, and also almost be a part of this new world, out of the corporate world, type of thing, and expanding in that way. So sort of new world type of thing. And also a feeling like you were in this other world, you tried to be part of that world, this world really didn't work, kind of energy as well. But as far as what it has to do with this Ariel thing, the Little Mermaid, I still am not sure. So maybe they'll show you that. So anyway, thank you so much, part of your world, for allowing me to do, once again, another reading for you. And I really hope that it benefits you, as always. Thank you. Namaste.